Hi, welcome back to East Coast Dungeons. My name is Jimmy. Today I have 5 traps coming at you, and I have one bonus special kind of surprise thing to use at the end. It's a little overpowered and ridiculous, but I think it's really cool, and the players get a kick out of it whenever I pull it out at the table. So anyways, let's check out the video. So the first one that I'm going to go through, let's say I'm going to use my dungeon tile just to represent some stuff. I'm going to show how I'd use it in the game. These are magnetic dungeon tile that I made. I really like them. I will eventually do a walkthrough of how I have this built, and it's a pretty cool setup. So I'll use this here. The ones that I have, I'll show these two together. They kind of the same thing. This could be whatever you want it. Could have different things come up. It could be darts. It could be whatever. I plan on making more of these. But I like these. Just kind of keep them separate. Players coming in. You either do the passive perception check, which I do have a video on that. If you're not sure how to use that, you can check that out. Whatever DC you're setting this at, that's what's going to make a difference for it. So the players come in whenever they're going anywhere. I normally have doors and other stuff set up in here. They trigger the trap. There you go. It's easy. You don't have to pull out different. You don't have to start separating stuff. I do have tiles that I have to do that for. They're still pretty cool. But yeah, so how did I make these? You basically get these at the dollar store. They're hollowed out. They're just little. They look like a little tiny cup with no bottom in them. So there's a hole they could go right through. I used a Q-tip. So I cut the end of the Q-tip off. I left a little tiny bit of it to stick that in. Then I'm just adding paint, right? So I'm going to go yellow, orange, red. If you want to put a hint of black in that, that would be okay too. Obviously this is MDF board. So that's all it is. I cut it out. I purposely made this smaller than the squares. Okay, and the reason why I do that, just so that it fits. If there's going to be a wall running or something here, you don't want it to get in the way. So that's kind of how that's done. This is just marker. Okay, I just use a marker on that, black marker, pretty simple. So you're going to paint it black. You can go a few different grays, whatever you use for your dungeon tile, that's how you're going to paint that. And with these here, I just kind of twisted the tip, I wet it, pulled it up, then I put Mod Podge on it to finish it, and that's done. This base is going to be the same. Base is the exact same. This, use the same thing that I got in the dollar store. You don't have to use that. You could use this. You could stick the Q-tip right to that if you wanted to paint the Q-tip silver. So what we have here is this is polyfill. You could use probably cotton balls. Pull them out. I just kind of twisted them on a Q-tip. Q-tip went in there. This just brought it up, made it a little bit bigger. Then I spray paint those green. That's it. And then I stick them in there, glue them, like the simplest trap you could ever imagine. The next trap that we're going to go through, just a normal dungeon tile. This does have the magnets. I will go through how I did that. This just pops out. This here, in case you can't tell, this has, you see the sides are beveled. That's just so that it fits in pretty easy. And it does fit in one way better than the other. That's not the right way. I just don't force it, see? Nice tight fit, so it's good. Once I pop that out, I'm gonna put my insert in. You can hit with the spikes. Pretty cool. I put this at my table. Players have no idea. You can't tell. You can't tell that that's anything but a tile. How I made that, obviously I'm not going to go through the whole dungeon tile. I'm just going to be concerned about this part. I will do another video. There's lots of videos on there. Black Magic Craft does them really well. So here, all you're going to do is I'm going to take a small utility knife, like almost like the carving ones, and I'm just going to cut that out completely, and I'm really going to take my time. I'm not going to use a big utility knife. It's going to go past. Probably not a big deal probably if it does, but yeah, that's it. And then, like I said, I bevel those edges. They angled slightly in. Yeah, you can see that one a little bit. That's just going to make it fit better. So that's how I use this at the table. So if I'm using this one, this is a tile that I will pop in and pop out. If you want to make it easier, you don't have to put the magnets on it. Or sorry, like I'll have to at least pop that out. I don't pop the whole tile out. Okay. So the next one that I'm going to have here is these. So all this is these. A lot of these crafts are old. I've done them a long time ago. So this is just the bubble type foam, like it's, but it came round, so I thought that that'd be pretty good to make some pillars out of. It's like a good size. All I did was take toothpicks, break them in half, put half in either side. So I just poke it through, take it out, put glue on it, stick it back in, black paint and Mod Podge, right? So I put that, coat the whole thing. These silver, red, like the rest is black. So and I put a little bit of blood splatters like all over. So how it's going to be used at the game, the player character is going to come through here, and they literally got to get through to the other side. So I don't make these pop up. They can see this obstacle. It's going to be a dex check. That's what they're going to have to do to get through there, or they're going to have to use some kind of magic, Misty Step or something to get across to the other side. This is generally how I'm going to use this in my game. So the player characters have to get from here, maybe inside, or they have to go here. And I don't have them, they're not going to have a whole lot of time. They're probably going to be getting chased by something. So there's going to be some sense of urgency. Like you could have it set up where they could take their time and they could try to figure it out, time the blades and spend a minute or two. But I want to have some kind of pressure so that they have to just kind of go. So yeah, kind of how that works. If you can see it, they all work individually. How I made that was, come back out here for a little bit. How I made that, this is foam, the bottom part. This is just a wooden dowel. This is a smaller wooden dowel at the top. How they go together is there's a rod that goes through here. It's I believe this piece, it doesn't matter, whatever kind of fits and whatever works. These little beads and stuff you get at the dollar store, you just buy bags of them and they have the holes in them. You're going to run one through that is going to fit from here to here. Then you're going to put something else there. These are going to be solid and these are going to be glued. Okay, so these do not spin. Everything on the inside, everything can spin. Like mechanic wise, I wanted to make this for a while. I just didn't know how to do it. I didn't see any cool videos. Like they're probably out there, but I just didn't see any. So yeah, I glue that piece on, right, to here after they're done. Obviously I bevel the blade a little bit. It's not, that's why I like to use foam. You could use MDF board, probably be a little stronger. Take a little longer, but that's okay. Yeah, so once that's, you have the foam done, the stick, you're going to obviously put that on. You're going to glue it to this side. Okay. Again, these are free to move because you just slid them all on there. I basically made this wide enough to accommodate this. So I measured this stick first, so because I knew what I wanted in between. That's what gave me the measurements for the outside of this. You could measure it however you want. You could fit that in later, but I can't really change the size of these. So that's probably the better thing. This is actually wood. I just cut that with a little coping saw, and this is cardboard out of like a cereal box. That's just to give it some added strength. The best way to do this is probably build these separately. Just build this one and this one. Leave a little space for this to come in. Then attach those two and it'll stand up. But you have to have this glued in when you put these on. Right? You have to, like, sorry, you can put those in and then glue it later. You can kind of press it, but I think I had this already on this. It's just the order I did. You do whatever order you want. I could probably put a little bit of rust or something on there, put a little bit of orangish brown, whatever. But anyways, I love it because it actually swings. You can move them individually. So that's pretty cool. The last one that I have is, it's ridiculous, I know. It's Fireball. So Fireball is pretty iconic in Dungeons and Dragons. So the wizard's here. A couple of Hell and Horror, whatever you want to call them, it doesn't matter. You're going to pull this thing out and you're going to blast Fireball. So I think it's big, it's ridiculous, but the Fireball spell in Dungeons and Dragons is also ridiculous. How did I make this? Well, I didn't make it correctly the first time. I used just a foam ball. You can buy those at the dollar store, so whatever size you want this to be. I put a stick up into the ball and I glued that here. Okay, and then I just had a wooden base. Okay, that's all that is wood. You buy that. I bought that at the dollar store too. It did not have a hole in it, so I drilled the hole in it, found the same size, punched it through. So now I have that on there. I have the ball on there. I used tin foil over the whole thing and to come back into here, right? That did not work well. So the paint wasn't sticking to it. Put Mod Podge on it. It just did not agree. I tried glue. People do paint tin foil. It just didn't work for me. I covered the whole thing after with paper mache, which made it ridiculously heavy. So I had to put a massive washer on the bottom because it kept tipping over. So then I painted it normal. Anytime you're painting fire, it's going to be yellow, orange, red. I threw some black in there just to show kind of some soot. There's our ridiculous Fireball. Looks pretty good on the table, especially, you know, you have the lights down a little bit. You know, it's going to give it that glowing effect a little bit more. Everything that I make better the second time. I could definitely make that better the next time. I'd like the flames to be more out. Well, hopefully you like those traps. It's just a quick walkthrough. I wish I had done a better job earlier recording stuff, but that's not something where my mind was at the time. It was more about crafting, and I definitely didn't feel comfortable making videos about what I was doing because it was a lot of experimental. I definitely feel a lot more comfortable with the builds that I have, and even the older builds. Like, I just lost a little bit of the ego. Like, you're not wanting to share stuff with people. It's mostly because you don't think your stuff's good enough, or whatever the case, or just maybe you don't want to do it. That's cool too. But for me, I just probably would have never thought of it. I'm looking at hopefully retiring in 3 years, so I'm trying to build up a channel, give myself something to do into retirement. Yeah, so that's my goal. Hopefully you liked the video. Hopefully you got a few tips on some traps. This is only my first video of traps. I'm probably going to have 4 or 5. I have a lot of traps. I didn't want the video to be 30-40 minutes of trap builds. So hopefully you see something that's useful and you can use it. Till next time, keep rolling those nat 20s.